All right, here's your shot of the morning. This massive black bear making himself right at home.
You got a woman spotting this wild animal sitting just like a human being, or most human beings with scoliosis, at a picnic table in her backyard.
This real-life Yogi Bear stayed for about 20 minutes before wandering off. This was no bear near you. It was in Alaska.
By the way, if we put more benches in the woods, do you think bears would use them?
I don't think the bear is comfortable. Just saying.
I think he needs a lunch mate. Someone to sit across from him to eat lunch with.
He's waiting for the food.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know that voice.
It's
Fox
Papa Bear.
News contributor, former Speaker of the House and 2012 GOP presidential candidate, and author of the new book, Trump's America. It is out now. Speaker, always good to have you with us.
It's great to be with you guys.
All right, first your reaction, the double bombshell that we learned late in the hours yesterday. Andy McCabe wants immunity now, and you also have Peter Strzok, who we are learning played a much larger role in the Clinton probe and the Russia probe. What is the bigger picture to all of this?
The scale of corruption is beyond imagining. I mean, first of all, if you were McCabe, you'd want immunity too, because he's going to go to jail. And if you're the number 2 guy in the FBI, going to jail is really a bad thing.
Why do you think he's going to jail?
Because he broke the law. Consistently, they have an Inspector General's report that says, here are all the different places he broke the law.
If you don't tell the truth to the FBI, we see this over and over again, you're going to jail. What if you're the FBI and you don't tell the truth?
Well, they're very strict about it because it's really high value for their agents to have believability in court. Mm-hmm. And so, McCabe is in deep trouble, which means Comey is in deep trouble. Mm. And in the case of Strzok, the most interesting single tweet or text message said, the president personally wants to be briefed on all of this. And what Strzok and Page are going to lead to is Valerie Jarrett and Barack Obama.
Mm. Because it sounds like what we're starting to hear is this FBI operation was being essentially run by somebody at the Department of Justice.
Who was running it on behalf of the President of the United States.
Right. And this informant, according to the Washington Post today, they are having trouble at the Washington Post lining up these stories because this informant was evidently put into action, how you want to say informant or spy, before the actual probe was listed as started. So why was the informant talking to Carter Page before the actual probe was launched? So the Washington Post can't figure that out, Newt. Can you?
Well, my favorite moment, we were in Laurel one night, and she played Jim Clapper, former director of national intelligence, saying, I really hate to use the word spy. And I thought to myself, he was the guy in charge of every spy the United States has in the world.
Right.
And it tells you, though, how totally deranged this is getting. These guys were all breaking the law. They were all counting on Hillary winning. They were all sure she would cover it up. And it was a straight-out deal. We won't put you in jail. You won't put us in jail.
Cozy.
So there's another story out there that I think impacts all Americans about the economy, the good job numbers that came in on Friday. But we are now learning, and this is the first time as far as we've been keeping track of the economy, that there are more job openings, Speaker, than there are people that are unemployed. 6.7 million openings to 6.35 million workers that are unemployed. What does that tell you about where we are?
Well, 2 things. First of all, it tells you that there's going to be a red wave this fall, not a blue wave. Because when you have the lowest black unemployment in history, it all begins to have an impact. And people begin to look around and go, wait a second, I don't care what the news media is saying. Trump's succeeding at a practical level. Second, it tells you, I think, that this is the moment to do welfare reform, to encourage people to get off of dependency and go find work.
Before November. You mean do it now?
Do it now. You have an opportunity here where you have so many new jobs being created. You want to encourage people, as Mary Mayhew did when she was commissioner in Maine, where they had a dramatic reform, very simple. If you're able-bodied and you have no children and you're getting food stamps, you must go to work. 13 out of the 14,000 people in Maine left food stamps, went to work full-time. Their incomes went up, and they began to be part of this great escalator that is the American system.
Well, that's what Mitch McConnell is telling Congress, canceling the August recess. Really curious on your thoughts about that. Should he have done it a long time ago?
Well, I think I wish Senator McConnell had at least kept him in for weekends, but I'm delighted that he is keeping him in. My prediction is that Chuck Schumer will have about 4 days of this and cave totally. This is all nonsense.
Because they were all doing this as delay to deny the president, and when it comes to the nominees, that would allow his to be fully staffed, which has been it's unprecedented.
Well, the Democrats have been shockingly unpatriotic in deliberately keeping all sorts of jobs vacant, which slows down the American government, weakens America all around the world. I mean, as you know, your dad's an ambassador, my wife's an ambassador.
How long were you guys
watch
delayed?
It was months. And we have other friends for whom it has been unconscionably long.
But it has just seemed petty.
It is petty. No, it's a deliberate strategy. Their goal was to so screw up the Trump administration that it couldn't function. And I think they're probably in a state of shock because Trump just reached past them and was successful despite them. But I think it was a deliberate goal on their part.
All right. Your thoughts on Bill Clinton? We all watched that Today Show interview 2 days ago. He is still trying to apologize for that horrendous answer. Here's the latest.
When I saw the interview, I thought that because they had to, distill it. And it looked like I was saying I didn't apologize and I had no intention to. And I was mad at me. It wasn't my finest hour. That was a very painful thing that happened 20 years ago. And I apologize to my family, to Monica Lewinsky and her family, to the American people. I meant it then, I meant it now. I've had to live with the consequences every day since. And I still believe this Me Too movement is long overdue.
Newt, when he was president, you were speaker.
Yeah, and look, and the whole fight was over his having committed perjury, which is a felony, and actually a case about whether or not he intimidated an employee, a female employee, when he was governor. I feel sorry for Bill Clinton.
He wants us to feel sorry for him.
But I do feel sorry for him. I mean, this is a guy who rose to the highest office in America, who first of all, has to now be with Hillary after her second defeat. And that whole arrangement didn't quite work out the way it should have from their standpoint. He is going to spend the rest of his life in this cloud and doesn't seem to be able to get to closure and just move on.
Didn't he create that cloud for him, though? Isn't he to blame for all that?
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying when you watch him, you're watching somebody who clearly is so much less than he wanted to be.
And by the way, he looks like he's struggling at 71 years old, sadly. Trump's America, the truth about the nation's great comeback. What surprises you 18 months in that made you write this book about a comeback? I know you like him and you were pulling for him, but what made you say this comeback is real?
Well, I think the remarkable thing, and a great contrast with Bill Clinton, is that Trump, despite all the opposition, despite all the hostility, despite 94% of the elite media coverage being negative, Trump has just ground his way forward. He has got the economy moving better than it has been since Ronald Reagan. If the numbers that the Federal Reserve is talking about come in this quarter at 4.8%, that'll be a Reagan level that we have not seen in I think 30 years.
That explains why he's getting all this good publicity then.
But it's amazing to watch. Here's a guy who has, I think, successfully maneuvered with North Korea and has successfully cut taxes, successfully deregulated, and the New York Times and the Washington Post would close down before they admitted it.
Well, it's all part of Trump's America. Brand new book came out yesterday. Newt Gingrich, we thank you very much.
It's a great read, Speaker. Always good to have you with us. And I'll see you on Outnumbered at noon.
All right.
All right.